You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to The Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, May 4th show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
Your local mortgage experts bringing into studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything regarding your money. We're here to help you in today's economy. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but to connect with our guest or ask them questions, you can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, we have Sheri Putzke of Windermere, New Construction Nuances. Sheri, thank you so much for coming back in studio.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And a little bit about Sheri. Sheri is ranked one of the top realtors in the greater Kirkland area. Although over 60% of her business is in her hometown of Kirkland, she gladly serves clients throughout the Puget Sound area. Sheri is a lifetime resident of Eastside with 13 years experience in both new construction and residential resale. Her clients enjoy Sheri's personal touch and appreciation, the professionalism and commitment and heartfelt care that she exhibits in every interaction. Sheri's success is based on her clients' repeat business and referrals, and she greatly values her friendships that continue well after the keys exchange hands. If you're ready to love where you live, you can give Sheri a call.
Sheri, I'm excited about today. Construction is something that's been on my mind. New construction, like it's a life goal of mine to build my own house exactly how I want it, with like funky trapdoors and secret passages and everything. Just really weird. But I'm serious about that. I really want to do that. I'm so serious. I want to hear give us some construction nuances. What do I need to know?
Yeah. So why new construction? It's new, right? I mean, it's kind of like a new car. Nobody's ever lived in it before. Mm-hmm. If there's a dent on the floor, it's because you made it. If there's a ding in the wall, it's yours,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So you're the first one in there. And then another great thing about new construction is it's just the current floor plans and configurations. So it's the way that we live today, less of the formal spaces like the formal living and dining room, more about the great room spaces that everybody's looking for. Mm-hmm. And also the warranty. You're not going to find that. Maybe you can purchase a 1-year warranty on a resale product, but new constructions sometimes have up to 10-year structural warranties on their product, which is a peace of mind for a buyer.
Yeah, and if you want to be trendy, new construction is always up to date on the newest trends.
Right.
And so another benefit. What are some other reasons for new construction?
Well, for example, new construction versus resale, timing is one factor to consider. It might be longer, the escrow period, depending upon the stage of completion of the home that you're purchasing. The builder contracts are oftentimes their own versus an MLS contract. Yes. So you're going to want to make sure that you're working with an agent that's familiar with those or really paying close attention to some of the nuances of the contract because there can be a lot of differences. And then the earnest money is a little bit different. Sometimes it's more, for example, closer to 5% than an average 3% earnest money. And oftentimes it becomes non-refundable at some point during the escrow period.
Yeah, and you talked about the timing. It can be a real benefit because right now still it's challenging to go in and get an offer accepted on a contingent offer. But if you're looking at new construction, you've got a longer time frame. There's a lot of times they're not going to take a contingent offer either, but if you have that period of time to be able to sell your home, it makes you more comfortable, right?
Very much so.
Yeah.
I like the idea of building some equity into your home too, rather than getting a resale at the market.
Yeah, definitely seen that.
Oftentimes, if you pick the right piece of property and you do a good job, you might have a little equity left when you're done already in your home. So.
Yes.
I know a lot of times clients are asked, well, does that mean that we're 20% down instead of a 5% down? No, sorry, lending doesn't work that way. It's based on the price.
Right. Yes, true.
So, Sheri, tell us a couple more differences between like a new construction, if I'm looking to go that direction, as opposed to buying a resale property.
Well, one other key difference is the possibility of upgrades, again, depending upon when you're purchasing the home. A resale, the home is as it is in most cases. With new construction, you can sometimes buy a pre-sale, meaning that it hasn't even begun, giving you an opportunity to go into the design center and choose virtually everything within your home. And that varies from one builder to another, whether or not they have a design center and the extent of the options available to you. But it can be a lot of fun. It's kind of like a kid in a candy store, and being able to pick, flooring, countertops, cabinets, you name it, paint colors, in and out.
Yeah, or those hideaway things.
Yeah,
or
the secret
So
passages.
let's talk about the preferred lender with the builder, and how many builders require anybody that's going to make an offer to go through their preferred lender for the pre-approval process.
Yeah, that catches people off guard sometimes. They think they're doing their homework up front, getting their pre-approval with somebody that they've been working with, and then they walk into a new construction community and they're being told that they need to make application with the preferred lender on site. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And one thing to clarify is, while they can require you to make applications, they can't force you to work with that lender. So you still have the option to work with whomever you choose. Sometimes the builder's lender has specific incentives. For example, they tie a credit towards the purchase to using their lender, or other incentives, but ultimately it's your choice who you wish to work with.
Yeah, and if you were a builder, I get it, because they have a relationship with this preferred lender, which means that they have confidence that they're going to get the job done. If they don't get the job done, there's a lot of things that are bad for that lender. So they have more of that responsibility that the builder knows. The concern would be, I want to caution if you're ever doing that, is if you have a credit score that's right where it needs to be, then really communicate and see how the credit report can be shared by the lender that you've already been pre-approved for. Give them the DU findings. They can check all the income, make sure everything's there, so that they can really have a confident approval, but not have to pull another credit report. So,
I
actually just experienced this. Our pricing was so good, our rate was so good that, in fact, we won it over because the difference was
I
very
get building.
small.
Yeah, I get the deals all the time when, I very rarely, unless they have, we're going to give you $5,000. And, that's, what can you do in that situation? But yeah, I don't have an issue with that. That's why it's really important not to have them pull another credit report if you're cutting it close for those best interest rates.
To damage your score. So what can we expect? The fun part. What do we expect? I flipped a few homes and I love designing and picking stuff out.
Yeah.
So what can I expect when I'm at the design studio?
Likely to spend some money.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. So, a lot of builders have a standard option package, and those are available to you in the design studio. But you get in there and you see what you can purchase for a premium. And those things are oftentimes beautiful and alluring, and you want them. So you're going to want to budget for some options for sure. And then sometimes there's different ways that you can finance that. Depending upon the builder, they might collect a percentage of the price of the option. Sometimes you can finance those options, but you should be prepared that you'll likely want to spend some money.
Yeah, and find out from your lender ahead of time. An extra $10,000 in options is $50 a month in the payment when you're financing it into a loan. So it really may not seem like that big of a deal. It's a little bit easier to go spend that money then. So Sheri, let's talk about the earnest money, because you had mentioned before about non-refundable. A lot of times that's the case. So can you share the why behind that?
Yeah, certainly. So say, for example, you do purchase a pre-sale and you go into the design studio, and perhaps you have taste like Keelan, right? You want a trap door in your house, which might not be a highly marketable resale component, right? So
I'm going to live there forever. Don't worry.
So say, for example, something unfortunate happens, you're not able to close on your home. The builder might have trouble reselling that home. And so that's essentially their means of protecting themselves and keeping that earnest money, or maybe they have to make some changes to the home in order to sell it.
Yeah, and it makes sense, because also when there's such a time frame as well that you may get out there and as a buyer, something happens and you change your mind, you want to make sure you really have some money, skin in the game,
right,
to protect the builder's interest.
Right.
Well, we see that now. You go into houses, you don't want Auntie Bertha's cabinets, right? You
don't.
No. Some of these colors and things that you see, you're like, it's just not going to work, right?
Right, exactly.
So I totally get that. So, Sheri, let's talk about why we need an inspection. It's new and everything's brand new. What the heck? What's up with that?
Right. I get asked this a lot. And, I represent builders and buyers in new construction often. But please people get an inspection,
Yes.
And for a number of reasons. And we could do a whole show on
Yes.
stories that I have from new
That would be
construction
a great.
inspections.
That'd be a great show.
It would be interesting, but you'd be surprised. And furthermore, it's $500 of insurance essentially, right? Builders, most of them are fabulous, and anything that comes up on the inspection, for the most part, they're going to address for you. So it gives you peace of mind. Keep in mind when you do your walkthrough with a builder, you're not up in the attic with them, you're not down in the crawl space with them, but your home inspector is. They're walking on the roof, they're checking out your attic for mold, they're checking out your crawl space for rodents, and it's just peace of mind.
That makes a lot of sense. My dad's in construction, and he had a famous word, hacker. Because you never know. He's like, oh, he's a hacker. Like, because you never know the quality. Just because it's new doesn't mean they did it right.
Right.
You know, so that inspection protects you.
Yeah, and with new construction, the inspectors typically, a lot of them they'll go back after 12 months to do a re-inspect. It's part of that initial fee, right?
Yes, and I also like to point out, too, a lot of people confuse appraisal and inspection, and they are two very, very different things. And you're going to want to make sure that you do both, essentially.
Appraisals for the value, the inspections, the quality of the home or lack of.
Correct.
So let's talk about the downside or things to be beware of when you're buying new construction.
Just a couple of things. For example, in terms of what comes with the home, sometimes the refrigerator isn't included, the washer and dryer isn't included. So you oftentimes need
window treatments.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. So in addition to the price of the home, the livability, you're likely going to have to spend some additional funds in order to be able to occupy your home. And then some things to keep in mind, too. If you're the first resident in a new construction plat of 50 homes, you're oftentimes getting in at a better value, but a bit of an inconvenience potentially from a noise perspective in terms of framers and their music from 7 a.m., 5-6 days a week, nails in the tires on occasion, right? It's just kind of inevitable, but oftentimes you benefit from getting in there early.
Yeah, and sure, those costs you talk about, the refrigerator, window treatments and all of that, because, man, blinds can be really expensive. That is something that you cannot roll into the financing like you can the upgrade. So something to be cautious of.
So Sheri, I'm really serious about this whole construction thing. Give me some more tips. What else do I need to know when I'm out there looking?
Angela's going to say no anyways, Keelan.
It's not true. It's not true. At the end, I always get my way, usually. I'm
going to leave that to the two of you guys.
Yeah, I better shut my mouth right now.
But just do your homework with your builder, right? When it's a good market, there's more agents in the marketplace, there's more builders in the marketplace. And 5 years down the road, if you run into an issue, you're going to want to know that your builder's still around. So ask around, ask your agent. Just make sure you're working with somebody reputable. Do your online research. There's a lot of information out there, and read about it.
Yeah, and you've already said the importance, and I just want to say, as your host of the show, it's critically important that if you're buying new construction, that you work with a real estate agent that knows new construction, because it is completely different than the resale side in a lot of ways. As Sheri mentioned, the contract is completely different. And with your expertise and your work in the new construction arena, what are you seeing that's current upcoming projects and some exciting things to share as we wrap up our time today, Sheri?
Yeah, I just want to quickly touch on a new community that I just launched with Terrene Homes. It is featuring estate-sized homes on acreage in the Union Hill neighborhood of Kirkland. So 8 homes, beautiful estates on 2 to 3 acres that I'm very excited about.
What are the price range going for those?
From the mid 2s to 3, 2.5 to 3 million.
Yeah, wow, exciting. Well, Sheri, thank you so much for joining us back in studio, and we definitely need to do a show on the inspection issues that come up. That would be a lot of fun.
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Much. And this is your host, Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day.
And your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
Your local mortgage experts, and we'll be here same time, same place next week, right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.